In 2017, the motor vehicle industry contributed $25 billion in today's money to the United Kingdom's economy. Well, now experts are saying that the UK will lose almost all of that industry, which will be an enormous loss to the UK's economy. It's happening very quickly. They say there's only around 5 years to go until the automotive industry is officially dead in the place that started the original industrial revolution. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. My name's Sam Evans, and I hope you've had an amazing day. This year, electrification is hitting new records. In fact, in the month of March, there were more EVs sold worldwide than any other month in history. This is disruption. And the United Kingdom are paying the price once again of being disrupted. One of the most well-known brands now in the UK of electric cars is MG. Probably a lot of British people still think that MG cars are made by the UK, or at least that MG is still a British company. But it's not. Somewhat surprisingly, even today, the automotive industry in the UK is still very large. However, the long-term future of British car making is under threat because of the failure to develop an electric vehicle and electric battery industry. That's what MPs were told yesterday by a group of experts in the United Kingdom. The problem here is much bigger than it sounds because nearly 1 million people in the UK are employed by the sector. Nearly 1 million. And this sector is facing the greatest transformation in its history over the next few years as petrol and diesel fuel vehicles are phased out. Now, you can imagine, are these people, these 1 million people, are they building EVs right now? No, they're not. This disruption in some ways is very similar to when the horse and cart was disrupted by the motor car. But that happened quite slowly. The reason being, technological innovation is happening at a much faster pace than what it was 100 years ago. There's already many cities in Europe that have begun to place bans on not just the sale of gasoline and petrol diesel powered vehicles, but on also their use. Some cities in Europe are saying in 2030, they will ban you even driving an internal combustion engine vehicle in their city. That's less than 7 years away. Key to the switch to electric vehicles, electric cars, and batteries for storage and EVs will be the development of so-called gigafactories producing batteries for plug-in electric cars. Right now, gigafactories are being built in Europe at a smaller scale, in the US at a medium-sized scale, and in China at an epic scale. The UK is not really playing any part in that. Yes, Britain is falling behind in the race to make the change amid a global scramble for raw materials such as lithium that are needed for the process. Now, the business committee was told this, the MPs were told this. They weren't just told this yesterday, they've been told this now for years. It appears as though they weren't listening. I wonder if they are now. A company called Make UK, the manufacturing body of the UK government, claims that Britain are being let down by the lack of a broader industrial strategy. And this strategy goes well beyond EVs. It goes beyond the automotive industry. It goes to industry sectors like manufacturing and renewable energy. The energy market will be driven in part, or large part, by the influence that China is now having globally. Darren Jones, chairman of the Business Select Committee, suggested that if the battery industry fails to catch up, car companies will over time make decisions to relocate new production lines in other countries where those supply chains exist, triggering a decline for the industry. Now, that decline has already occurred because peak UK automotive industry happened in 2016. The industry has fallen every single year since then for 7 straight years. Here's what he said. I really think that's true. That's 850,000 people's jobs on the line, and we just can't accept that, said Jeff Townsend, founder of the Critical Minerals Association and industry body. Simon Moores, chief executive of the Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, a consultancy, warned of the scramble for materials such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, and graphite. He said, "We can catch up, most definitely, but we are very far behind." Can the UK catch up? Do you really believe the UK can catch up? I would say there is exactly zero chance of that happening. The UK government at the moment doesn't have a strategy, doesn't have a runner in this race, he said. Even if it comes up with a strategy to help attract the industry, it will take until 2030 to build a battery supply chain, said government experts. Paul Lusty, director of the UK Critical Minerals Intelligence Centre, told MPs, "I don't think we can currently be confident that we're going to be able to fulfil the raw material demands for the UK for building out gigafactories." Well, no, considering none have been announced and none will be ever made in the UK, I'd say that's pretty likely. Jeremy Rathel, founder of Cornish Lithium, which is exploring the region for the potential to extract the metal, pointed to the difficulty of competing for funds at a time when the US, as well as Europe and China as well, are offering massive incentives. Now keep in mind, the really only British brands that are left, Jaguar and Land Rover, now are both owned by Tata, an Indian company. What about MG? Well, they are owned by SAIC, a Chinese car company. What about Mini, the electric Mini? Well, that's made in China by Chinese car companies, and parent company is BMW. Liam Condon, the boss of UK chemicals giant Johnson Matthey, went further, claiming on Sky News that the race for the battery industry was over. And Liam's right. It's one and done. The UK automotive industry will likely cease to exist within less than 7 years' time. That means 800,000 jobs are likely to be lost at a minimum. It could be more than 1 million. Remember, one automotive industry job, one direct job employs 10 people indirectly. That's the average in the industry. So the truth is, nobody knows just how many jobs will be lost, but it will be many hundreds of thousands, and this will have an enormous impact on the UK's economy. Liam said on Sky News, "Britain could still become a global champion to green hydrogen, another net zero technology, but must move with a sense of urgency to avoid squandering its lead." And it didn't explain how the UK was going to somehow magically save its automotive industry using green hydrogen, because that's probably not actually possible. A report from Make UK yesterday called for a new plan for the UK to create high-skilled manufacturing jobs. Chief Executive Stephen Phipson said, "A lack of a proper planned industrial strategy is the UK's Achilles heel. Every other major economy from Germany to China to the United States has a long-term national manufacturing plan. We don't." My friends, unfortunately, the United Kingdom's economy will probably hit a significant decline over the next decade, thanks to the fact that their manufacturing of automotive vehicles, of everything along the entire automotive supply chain, will cease to exist within a matter of only years. This is happening, and unfortunately, as Johnson Matthey said, the race for the battery industry and the automotive industry is over. Thanks for watching, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye-bye.